Good day, everyone. My name is Marie Muldowney, and I'm the Managing Director at the Canadian Securities Institute. Welcome to the Rotman School of Management and CSI webinar, and thank you for joining. I'll just take a moment to introduce this webinar, and then I'll introduce our special guests. So first of all, I need to say that any information contained in this webinar can be statements of opinion, but are not statements of fact or recommendations to purchase, sell, or hold any securities or provide legal or tax advice. We ask that no one record the webinar without the explicit permission of Moody's. Lastly, no one has permission to quote any of the comments or questions made by the webinar audience. Today's webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made available on our website at csi.ca in the coming days. So all members of the audience are currently on mute. If you have a question, we encourage you to ask it, and please type it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So CSI is thrilled, absolutely thrilled to be partnering with the Rotman School of Management to jointly offer this program. The program will focus on wealth management, the practice of wealth management advisory service, and brings together the insights gleaned from academic research combined with the expertise of practitioners who bring a broad base of experience. So let me just talk you through the agenda. It'll be very simple. I'll do these introductions. Next slide, please. We'll do the introductions, and then we'll have a discussion between Waleed and Tiffany, who I'll introduce in a moment. And at the end, we'll have the Q&A session. So go on to the next slide and let me present our presenters. So let me start with Waleed. Waleed is the architect and brains behind this joint CSI Rotman program. He's a professor of economic analysis and policy at Rotman. He is a professor of and teaches in the MBA program and the EMBA program. He's also the academic director of executive programs at Rotman. His research focuses on the development of strategies which enhance the ability of companies to compete in domestic and global marketplaces. He's worked closely with many companies to develop and implement innovative strategies with a particular focus on the role of leaders in preparing those companies to lead strategic change. We're also extremely fortunate to have Tiffany Harding involved in the program in terms of both shaping the curriculum and as a guest speaker in the program. She's also obviously accepted to present in this webinar. So Tiffany has kept us very honest as we've developed the outline of the program, making sure that it is highly practical and truly addresses the fundamental skills that advisors need as they build and fine-tune their practices and to address their clients' needs. She's worked in the financial services industry for more than 20 years with institutions including RBC and Gluskin Sheff, where she was in charge of wealth planning. She is currently with Manulife Securities, where she's an AVP, Head of Practice Management and Wealth Planning Services. She's also a passionate advocate of advisory standards and training. And in that endeavor, she has generously given her time to CSI in many ways in this program, as well as acting as the chair of our PFP Council. She also has a long list of credentials, and she's clearly a strong advocate of continuous learning. Sharon will also be joining us. She's Associate Director of Partnerships and Business Development at the Rotman School of Business Executive Programs. She has a Master's of Education with over 22 years of experience in designing and curating learning experiences. She has launched several successful programs in collaboration with corporate and government institutions. With a long-standing record of initiative, consensus building, and leadership, Sharon ensures that each learning experience design and execution is relevant to the audience and achieves the attended objectives. Clearly, she'll be involved in this program, and she'll bring all this expertise to the program. At the end of our session, in the Q&A session, Sharon will be providing more information about the logistical questions around the Q&A. So, without further delay, let me pass the webinar on to Waleed.
Thank you very much for that generous introduction, Marie. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work together with CSI and your team, Marie, as well as Tiffany, in putting this program together. And I'm really excited to have this conversation today with Tiffany to talk about the program. So Tiffany Thanks for being with us today. We all know how busy you are, and you are amongst the most knowledgeable people in the country when it comes to the practice of wealth management. I actually know that you were at a wealth management conference just last week. Perhaps to get us started today, you can tell us a little bit about that conference and perhaps what the takeaways were.
Well, first, Waleed, I think you're making me blush because there's a number of industry experts who know a lot more than I do. But thank you for that. A great way to kick it off. This conference that we had last week, I was so excited to be there. It was a group of 60 wealth management professionals who service advisors at Manulife. And first, it was great to have everybody in person. But I was really, really excited because it focused on the importance of delivering advisor programs that are designed to help elevate their service offering, deepen client relationships, which ultimately drives business growth. And advisors are interested in really moving their business forward. And how timely is it that our webinar is this week? Because here we are today discussing this elite program, which is designed for future-focused wealth advisors.
Yeah, indeed, it is exactly the right timing. It's almost magical. So thanks for sharing your experience from that conference and being here today. We are here today to talk about this new and innovative program that Rotman and CSI have co-designed. Perhaps you can tell us why advisors in the wealth management industry would consider taking a program like this, Tiffany.
Well, before we discuss the impressive lineup and the content, which I will tell you is one of the reasons why I said yes, working alongside you to design this for advisors, I just want to start by highlighting the type of environment that you have created. You are focused with the advisor in mind, where the participants are going to learn from academics, thought leaders in the industry, and especially their peers. What else I really liked about this program is that you've designed a safe place for advisors to share their experiences. We know that advisors are servicing clients and it's competitive in nature, but you have this platform where they can share these experiences within the context of formal systematic frameworks. And you did that so that they have the intention that they'll develop an understanding of best practices and proven strategies that work. Because we know that if advisors are going to invest time and energy, they want to know that they're going to be able to apply the learnings into their business. You and I also talked about how this program is very similar to Rotman executive programs, and that these cohorts, these participants, they're going to learn from one another and build these long-lasting and fruitful networks that, when really nurtured organically, will help these advisors develop and grow their business. So what we talked about before is that this program is really designed for advisors. So all of you listening on this call today, if you want to be a future-focused wealth advisor who manages the complex affairs of high net worth families and clients, then this program is designed for you.
Yeah, and just to echo a couple of your points, Tiffany, the one thing that we do at Rotman Executive Programs is really cultivate an environment, a safe environment where we can really interact and where participants can build networks. But through successive cohorts of this program, we also have alumni events where people can continue to be engaged in various ways. So as you say, to build those networks is very, very important. Thank you for stressing that. Tiffany, what do you think participants will take away from the program?
Well, it's a 5-day, 5 days from Wednesday to Sunday. And one of which was important for me when we were talking about it is, what are you going to learn? What are advisors going to learn, and what are they going to take away? And so let's talk about the lineup that we have, which is impressive. We are going to hear from a national wealth management leader who's going to share with us the vital trends in wealth management, because advisors need to understand what is happening today and in the future so they can adapt and grow their business. We're going to hear from Tom McCullough. He's an industry leader. Everyone knows him in the wealth management industry. Chairman and CEO of Northwood Family Office, which is Canada's leading multifamily office. That's what he says on his website. And so hearing from Tom, you will learn about the importance of understanding the dynamics of managing families and their wealth. He will also ensure that we understand the importance of having a well-structured communication strategy, which will drive that alignment among decision makers within the family and stakeholders. Tom is also going to highlight how to identify and execute the vision the client has for the family's legacy. He's going to explore how succession planning is essential for sustaining family wealth across generations. This is one area that I was really excited about, because I know in the industry, we are not always the best at executing plans. And Tom is going to highlight the importance of setting realistic goals, helping clients manage risk by not executing on their plans, and the importance of implementing strategies. And then coming from a family office, he's also going to highlight how he manages wealth for a family through the family office lens. So very excited to have Tom there for 3 sessions, I believe. Then I'm looking forward to Prasad Ramani from Syntonic, because he's going to do a deep dive in understanding the importance of the emotions and how they drive behaviors and how we make decisions. So with his learnings, he's going to teach us how to guide clients to make the right decisions in wealth management. Along that line, we've got Professor Maya, who is globally known for her work helping professionals sharpen their communication skills. I was telling, Waleed, we were talking about it before. I listened to one of her videos and the importance of having those communication skills, how it will demonstrate the advisor's success, and how they'll be directly impacted by their communication style. We're also going to learn from Professor Esch about the importance of integrating all of this thinking that we're going to learn in the symposium, and leveraging technology to grow your business. And as we're going through that digital transformation, that's going to be such an important session to learn from Professor Esch. And then, as Marie said, and as you said, working closely with the Rotman School of Management, this program really does bring together industry knowledge, academics, alongside leading research that is designed for these future-focused wealth advisors to grow and succeed.
Thank you for that, Tiffany. And just to, so much great content, and it all comes together beautifully. You mentioned how John Esch is going to help us bring everything together and integrate it into the business and solve competing sort of interests and so on. But, just to echo the one point on Prasad and thinking about Syntonic and behavioral economics and nudging, there's a thought leader in the industry who said the following: wealth management is 1% science, 99% psychology. And the reason he said that was everybody knows what the right thing to do is to save your money and be responsible, but they just don't do it. So one of the power that Prasad and behavioral economics brings in with their algorithms, they're able to nudge people, and it's so very powerful. But bringing that together with Professor Maya, communication is so very important. So maybe I can just ask a follow-up question, Tiffany, about communication. And when you think about Maya and communication, it's way beyond just sort of the verbal. There's other dimensions to it as well.
Yes, there's definitely other elements of it. It's that communication with confidence. It's about our body language, our physical presence. One of the things that Professor Maya had said is that I'm supposed to make sure that I've got the screen so I can show my hand movements and the passion that I have. And so when we think about this virtual world and these hybrid meetings that we're having, it is making sure that advisors have those skills to communicate verbally, physically in those different environments. So really looking forward to having Professor Maya talk to us about communicating with confidence and being present.
Yeah, and you think about all of these skills that all come together that we're talking about here, it could really help advisors, move the needle in their business in whatever they're looking for. But perhaps you can tell us who you believe the ideal advisor is for this program.
So spending a lot of time with you and talking about the curriculum, this program is really focused on what I call the future-focused advisors who want to elevate and differentiate their business. They're passionate about learning. They're really committed to enhancing that client experience and engaging families and intergenerationally. They manage the wealth of the family across the succession spectrum. They work with high net worth and ultra high net worth business owners, clients, families who have complex affairs. And also they're really interested and committed to growing the quality of their business.
Could you elaborate on what you mean by quality? So it's not just about having more clients per se, but one dimension that you think quality might enter that advisors should think about.
So we could have a number of clients. If you think about quantity versus quality, it's having the right clients for your business. It's about providing the right service model. It's about understanding the practice that you're going to have, that you are going to be able to provide those services to the client. It's about understanding you, your business, and your future.
Yeah. And so maybe for another time, you and I could talk more, Tiffany, about the 80-20 rule of
Right.
20% of your clients take 80% of your business and how to optimize on that. And that's where technology could be so very interesting, especially on how to integrate it into your platform. I want to go back and talk about soft skills because you and I have talked extensively about how important it is. We know that soft skills, they are so very important, especially in dealing with families. In your experience, Tiffany, would this program help in that respect?
Well, I agree with you. Regarding soft skills in general, I believe my children and everybody would benefit. There's only upside benefits for everyone having this type of knowledge. But for our focus today, think about when you're conversing with clients and their family members and the different ages of family members. But you're talking to them about wealth, wellness, and well-being. That's when you really shift from those technical and analytical expertise. And that's when you start utilizing that emotional intelligence skills. And those skills really include you being truly curious, asking the right questions. You have to be focused on listening, talking less, and having compassion. And so in this program, you're going to hear from academics and industry experts about the art of communication and why advisor success, especially across those generations, can be directly impacted by the way that you communicate and the way that you communicate and deliver the technical, analytical, and soft skills with your clients. And speaking of Professor Maya, as I mentioned before, that confidence really goes beyond the verbal. That confidence is foundational in our interactions with clients. And she's going to talk about that importance of the physical aspects of the communication.
Yeah. Sort of another thread that goes through the program, but is so very important in the work that we do at Rotman in developing more successful executives and business people is what makes you an effective manager is not the same as what makes you an effective leader. And especially when it involves a lot of soft skills. And you said it earlier, Tiffany, the issue of emotional intelligence and all of the research in the area, but particularly by Daniel Goleman, sort of a leader in the area. He shows that 80% of the difference in effectiveness of leaders is driven by what you called emotional intelligence. It's all of those things that you said. And so Professor Maya will talk extensively about those soft skills, about listening, about how to communicate the terms that you used, the eye contact, the stance, all of that. So thank you for sharing that, Tiffany. You know, some advisors actually think they don't need to improve their soft skills. I always say those are the ones that need it the most. But some advisors believe they can do it all. And what do I mean by that? You know, they believe they can provide all of the services that a high net worth client or a family needs. As we know, there's a move in the industry towards providing more holistic wealth management services that takes on an integrated team of specialists. In your view, what does that look like ideally?
Well, to validate that, we know from the research from Boston Consulting Group that clients are seeking out organizations that are offering a diverse set of services and who provide integrated, personalized experiences. So right now, there are advisors who take an integrated approach, and they work very closely with a team of specialists. And those specialists include tax, estate, business owner, philanthropic specialists, a number of those experts in the field to provide advice to families. But then there's those exceptional advisors, I call them, who really understand the importance of integrating a team of specialists, but also adding the wellness and well-being aspect as part of their service offering. And this is more recent. You only started hearing about this in the last 5 years or so, and some are doing it really well. These advisors are providing the non-traditional support to families. So when we think about the future, we think about advisors who are providing clients with personalized advice relating to healthcare, social impact, elder care, travel, family counseling. Think about mental health that our clients and their families are experiencing, and retirement and lifestyle coaching, which is relatively new. So, you know, to answer your question as to what do I think it looks like in the future, when we think about an integrated team of specialists, it is still the technical experts, but they're now also collaborating with these non-financial professionals who are providing that non-traditional support for families as a part of overall integrated wealth wellness. And that's where I see we're going.
Yeah, and so just sort of a follow-up on that, you know, we have a successful advisor, wealth management professional who's out there and now has to provide this integrated set of services. So now they're dealing with all of these different people, different stakeholders. You know, they're not trained for that. They went to business school, maybe have a finance degree. They don't understand how to necessarily work with all these. So, you know, in building this network of integrated services, what do you think advisors need to learn in addition to identifying who the right partners are, but just how to work with them all?
So I think advisors need to attend the program, and then they're going to hear from Jeff Liardelli, who's going to teach them how to manage those stakeholder relationships, because it is beyond the client and the family member. As you said, you're now expected to be a wealth management coordinator. You're expected to understand the health and wellness element, elder care, travel, all of these different components that are now coming into the relationship between a client and an advisor and the family. And we all know that you can't be all things to people. And so you really do have to have those skills that Jeff is going to teach us about managing those stakeholder relationships, and then designating the right people in your practice who will coordinate and manage for the family.
Yeah, you shared with me an example of a dentist. Perhaps you could share that example. I think it's a great analogy.
Well, it's exactly how you mentioned, right? They go to, and we deal with a lot of dentists in wealth management, is they go to business school and then they come out and they got to be HR professionals. They have to learn how to run their business. They have to learn how to buy equipment. They have to learn how to manage their families, technology for the booking systems. And at the end of the day, they just want to practice dentistry, which they've learned and mastered. And so you really do need to support yourself with that network that is going to help elevate your practice. And that is learning that communication and that stakeholder management to move your business forward. It really is surrounding yourself with a the village or the team.
You know, we have a whole portfolio of programs at Rotman for health professionals because, as you said, doctors have gone to med school, dentists have gone to dental school, and now they have a staff and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to manage the office. But I'm going to make a claim here, and I hope you agree with me. The challenge for advisors is more difficult. Imagine you land a big client who wants an integrated set of services, and now you bring in all of these stakeholders. And this particular client, let's just say, is worth $1,000 in fees. I know that's a small number, but to make it easy, you want to make sure that you've set up a structure so that you're not losing the vast majority of that. How to set up all of those relationships and how to understand the contracts and the division of the value. These are really, really important issues that Jeff will talk about, how to set up that network of professionals and manage those stakeholders. I think that will be an incredibly important takeaway from the program.
Well, and you see these businesses, these advisor practices are evolving. They're leveraging outside professionals, bringing them on as contract, not bringing them on in-house. At the end of the day, there's a small margin that advisors need to work with. And so to your point, if you come on and bring on a full staff, then at the end of the day, you're not going to be making any money. So it's balancing between the needs of the clients, providing that personalized service, and then partnering with the right firms and technology to help you to surround your business as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Jeff.
Yeah, no, Jeff is great. And I don't want to give away some of his teaching tips, but I guaranteed you're going to go away after his session with one word: wow. Really,
I like
really.
wow.
Yeah, but the whole program will be wow. There'll be lots of wows throughout the program, but nevertheless,
Okay.
There's a couple more topics I do want to get to, Tiffany, before we open the floor to questions.
Okay.
So people that do have questions, make sure you put them in the chat and we'll leave some time at the end. But Tiffany, many wealth managers strive to provide services to families. We know that managing families is very complex and gets even more complicated when wealth management strategies impact different members differently. What are the key lessons you've identified when dealing with families?
Well, after almost 25 years, I think I've learned a lot of lessons, but let's focus on two. So the first one I want to focus on is that intergenerational lens. And advisors have to take that intergenerational approach with families. Different ages, different stages, different approaches. Think about your oldest child, the youngest child, middle child, all very different. And imagine when you've got many years in between those family members. So how you communicate and interact will change based on the audience and the information and guidance that those individuals are seeking. And that's why, another reason why I'm really looking forward to hearing from Professor Maya on communication. The other one, and I will just ask Leanna to put up the slide for me, the 10 domains of family wealth. This one here, the second lesson that I've learned is that families have evolved. And therefore, how we work with clients and families must evolve as well. So many advisors today focus on those 4 top areas that you see: financial and investment management, estate planning and legal issues, social impact and philanthropy, and risk management. And that's really under wealth creation and stewardship, but not all advisors are tackling those areas in the family. Now, this model, which was created by the Ultra High Net Worth Institute, and they created this model because they recognize we must change. We must have a comprehensive and integrated understanding of the family and their wealth. And so advisors have to expand our focus beyond those top 4 domains and consider what is the health and well-being and the dynamics of each family member. What are they going through? What about learning and development? Are we providing that financial education and awareness to the younger generation? Are we providing the generations with the leadership and transition planning guidance that they need when they're taking over a family business or they're going to manage the family foundation, are we setting them up for success? If we think about family governance, we all know families, not all of them get along, some of them do, but there are some families where making decisions is really difficult. And depending on the structure of their family and the assets that they own, that decision making can be challenging. And that could mean that you can't execute a plan. So again, we have to focus on how to seek alignment with all stakeholders across the generation. And so we need to really focus on these 10 domains of family wealth when managing these relationships. And this to me is really, really powerful on how we service clients and families going forward.
You know, just before I go to another topic, you know, you mentioned the importance of governance. Perhaps you could help us understand more what you mean by governance.
Well, you know, it depends for each family. So depending on if they've got a family business and how they're managing that family business, and it depends on the relationships within those families. And so it really could mean different things to different families. So,
Yeah.
so that is more of another expanded question for the next time. But I know Tom will talk about that because that is really important from the family office and the family lens on managing governance and decision-making for families.
Yeah, you know, if you don't get the governance right, then there's really big problems there. So that's another one, but that's sort of that integrated team of specialists that you always talk about, Tiffany. So thank you for that. You know, I talk to a lot of people, a lot of professionals all the time. I work with lots of big data, and I love when people come to me and say, I've got all of this data. And I say, yes, but what is the question you want to answer? But the flavor of the month often is, you know, there's these new technologies and it's going to change the way we do things. So very often, you know, advisors and other professionals, but advisors kind of know about these new technologies, but they really don't know what to do with it. So the program dedicates time to identifying and leveraging these new technologies in wealth management. Can you speak to a few of these technologies and their importance?
Well, like you, I'm a data lover, a champion. I love data analytics. It really tells the story in so many ways. And when I was reading this research paper prepared by Thought Labs in 2021, they indicated that firms have seen nearly a 14% increase in productivity as a result of digital transformation. And so why really in this wealth management space is because we know that digital innovation boosts that advisor productivity. It increases AUM. It translates into higher revenue and market share. And depending on the firm structure, greater shareholder value. I also loved in this report that it said financial planning was the area that generated the highest return on digital investment for wealth management firms. Because we know that once you engage clients in their financial planning journey, that opportunities organically will follow. So when I think about where we are in this period right now of digital transformation, which we will always be in a period of transformation, this program is particularly important for advisors to learn how to compete in this digital first world by leveraging the technology, understanding artificial intelligence and big data analytics to attract, win, retain, and grow clients. And if I just think about technology in a wealth management practice, right now it's being used to better understand clients and provide that enhanced customization and personalization of solutions. It automates processes focused on enabling operational efficiencies, especially compliance, and focuses on that advisor productivity, because the majority of advisors I know, they don't want to be behind the desk filling out paperwork. They want to be meeting with clients and families and having those conversations and getting the right stakeholders at the table. And then lastly, which is also most importantly, is using technology to deliver personalized digital wealth planning advice at a time that is convenient for the client and the family. Some of these clients like to wake up at 5 in the morning and look at their financial plans. Some of them are at 10 o'clock at night. And so using technology to work on the client's terms is so important for these relationships.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I'll just say, we're really excited. We're hoping to get the thought leader who's going to discuss all that technology in the wealth management industry that will potentially elevate your business. That's your job, Waleed, to get him
Yeah,
in.
so we have 2 invites out. I actually have calls set up with both of these thought leaders, so we're not going to say their names until they do agree, but I put it at probability 99% because I'm a convincing person. So that's what, but before we end, I just have 2 quick questions for you, 2
Okay.
quick follow-ups, and then we'll go back to Marie and open the floor to questions. But I just want you to stress the importance of compliance, how it's increasingly onerous. And I want to stress the point, adopting technology for the sake of adopting technology is the wrong lens.
Mhm.
How to understand what the right technology is, who the right partners are, to bring in that technology to help you get these advantages that you talked about, operational efficiency. But perhaps you could just say a few words about the increasing onus of compliance and how this program can help advisors grow their business by mitigating those challenges.
So one of the, I remember listening to a webinar, and they put up on the screen and they said, we all have the same time in a day. And what's happening with advisor practices is that this free time is less and less because compliance and regulation are taking over the time that an advisor gets to manage their practice. And so is there a way to leverage technology? And I know there's solutions out in the marketplace that will help advisors save time. And so this program will allow you to start thinking about, okay, what am I doing in my business? And where are those operational efficiencies? Where can I leverage technology to ensure that I am spending more time with clients? Because it's here, we know it's here, and it's not going anywhere. And so we have to think about how we can manage that time to ensure that you are dedicated to working with your clients.
Yeah, another big theme in the programs that we deliver at Rotman are many managers or many business people, many leaders often work in the business, not on the business. What do we mean by that? They work really hard. They work 50, 60 hours a week, working hard, but they never step back and say, am I doing the right things? So stepping back and thinking to say, I'm spending 10 hours a week on something that can be automated, and just think through, by adopting the right technology and integrating it into your business in the right way can free up your time. And Tiffany, having 1 extra day to do business development and meet clients rather than do things that can be automated, will that move the needle in someone's business?
Well, it will. And I want to give you one more experience too. I met with an advisor, say 5 years ago, and he asked me, how would you like your coffee? And so I told him I'd like my coffee, and okay, maybe it wasn't 5 years ago, it was a little sooner. I'd like it with oat milk. And he went out and he got oat milk. Now, the next time I went to go meet with this advisor, he had the coffee with the oat milk already prepared, because his CRM system, the technology that he used to enhance the client experience, it was that saved time. Now, maybe I felt like a tea that day, but I had the coffee. All of those little differences of using technology is going to improve the client and advisor journey and experience. And that's going to be an exciting part of it to listen to those thought leaders as well.
Yeah, that CRM story, we have a similar one we share with Four Seasons Hotel. And we have a story where a professor goes to this Four Seasons in Calgary, and he always moves his table to the window because he likes to oversee the city. So
Right.
every time he goes there, they move the table, and so that it's memorable. So having that customization. The very last question I have for you, and it's about building networks and getting participants to work together on a group project. Are we going to make them work hard, Tiffany?
It wouldn't be an executive program if we weren't going to make them work. So on the first day, when you come in, all of the participants are going to be assigned a group. And then on this Saturday, you're going to get some time to work on that presentation. And then you're going to be able to present it. And I believe Tom is also one of the judges, but we'll see who ends up being on the panel. But yes, it's meant to be, this isn't a symposium to talk to you. It's to be interactive and for you to feel that you have completed something. At the end, you will have this presentation that you will prepare. Culmination of all of the days of learning.
And the other great thing about working together in groups on a project that we will tell you more about at some point is you build deep relationships with other people that you didn't know. And as you said, Tiffany, over time, you develop these relationships that are win-win and help you grow your business. So I can't believe we're out of time already, Tiffany. We could go for another hour, but I'll stop there.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
You're
And
welcome.
I'll turn the mic back over to Marie.
So we have a number of questions. I thought, first of all, I would just present the core curriculum and what it includes. Lots of areas of communication, as Tiffany and Walid have mentioned, behavioral finance, multidisciplinary teams, managing a client's legacy, which is so important, and then all of the technology elements. And as you can see, the technology elements really add a dimension of power to your practice because you're able to use data in order to substantiate your advice or to be able to understand your client. So I'd like to now open the floor for questions, and I'd like to invite Sharon to come on screen and maybe just give us an overview of some of the logistics, some of the things that students should be considering, some of the organizations, the things that they're going to prepare in order to enroll in the program.
Thanks, Marie. Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon Dupin. Nice to be here with you this afternoon. So there are a few questions that came through around when we're going to offer the program again. Some people may not be able to make it in April, so we are possibly considering having another session in the fall, depending on how the session goes in April. Another question was around how many participants do we expect? Usually we like to cap the class at around 35 to 40 for maximum networking opportunities and for everyone to have a voice within the program. The reason why we've made the program residential is so that really you can get away from the day-to-day work and calls and things like that, and really go in and take advantage of the learnings, take advantage of your peers who will be there, and really network with them and form those social bonds as well. And we think that that's very important. In a program like this, we've run multiple programs that are residential in nature and find that people come away feeling much more connected to their cohorts, and they go on to be in contact with each other way after the program is done. So you will really benefit from having that additional network. Plus, it helps in your group work when you are working on your presentations at the end of the program. In terms of signing up for the program costs $8,750 plus HST. That's the price of the program. And on the website, you will find information, and towards the end, when we send you this presentation as well, you will have that information. You can just go onto the website and hit the Apply Now button, and you just have to set up a profile, and then you'd be able to apply to the program. Usually when you apply to the program, we ask for a 50% deposit to hold your spot. We anticipate that this would be a very popular program, so I would encourage everyone to sign up as soon as possible. April is not that far away. And I think someone asked the question of whether or not we'll go online at some point, someone from Vancouver. Now, given the way we set up the program to be residential, online, it would be very difficult to replicate that online. So for now, we're not considering online, but if we do have enough sort of demand for the program in different provinces, we could consider moving the program to different provinces at some point or the other. So that's pretty much the gist of it. If there are any other questions outside of that, please feel free to type it in the chat. I believe there was one for Waleed around the differences between this program and the FEA program.
Yeah, they're both fantastic programs, and I wouldn't say one is better than the other, but what I would say is our program is meant to be much broader in that it talks about a lot of additional themes that can help an advisor move their practice forward beyond the focus on families. So I would say it's much broader and addresses a lot of additional topics, but they're both great programs.
Yeah. And in
Also,
terms of,
there was also a question about a certificate.
Yes, so you will be given a certificate at the end of the program. It's not a certification, but it's a certificate that will be co-branded with CSI Moody's and the Rotman School of Management to indicate that you've acquired certain business acumen that would enhance your performance as a wealth advisor. The average experience, which would be considered for the course, I would say between 3 to 5 years would be the minimum that we would consider to attend the course. In terms of who is attending, the program is designed for advisors, not high net worth families. We have a separate program called the Family Wealth Management Program that actually is for high net worth families. And interestingly enough, a lot of the intel that went into and the content considerations that went into this program came from intelligence that we got from the high net worth families in terms of what they expect from their advisors. So there's a close connection between the both, but for this particular program, it's just for advisors. And someone asked if the program will provide credits to the MBA program. No, because it's not an academic program. It's an executive education program. So most of our programs do not provide credit to an academic program such as an MBA.
Okay, just a couple of questions for either Tiffany or Waleed. How much interaction do you have among the students? Do they get a chance to talk to each other? What's the dynamic there? What are you anticipating?
Yeah, so I can take that, Tiffany, and you can weigh in as well. But the very first evening, so we have a keynote speaker, and then immediately after dinner, we put people into groups where they begin to develop their thinking on the project that we were going to give them. So we give them a project to work on. There's some flexibility there. I don't want to say too much at this point. They work together that first evening. And then through the program, we build in time for them to work. Now, I want to say this in a positive way, not to scare people, but we have several residential programs where we give groups projects and they work in the evening. Some groups work until midnight. Other groups work for just a few hours and end up in the pub drinking wine or beer. And you can guess which group delivers the best presentation, or maybe you can't guess. That's sort of a question. Tiffany, what do you think?
I think that it's all about productivity, making sure that you use the best use of your time and having those groups come together. They've learned about the communication and the importance of that delivery, and I think they will be efficient on their presentation.
Yeah, and the other thing is the faculty are there to help answer questions in the evening. But you know, the really important point is everything is set up for success. We're there to build relationships, to have fun. But as a professor at a business school, I think my proudest moment is not just when the participants present, and I can be very happy with the quality, but at the end of the evening, typically what happens is the groups are working in their different breakout groups, and probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, everybody comes together and we're sitting around the big table just sharing stories, talking about our work together. It's really an amazing opportunity to bring like-minded people together that really want to advance their practice. Think about all of the best practices. And as one executive vice president once said to me, Waleed, I can't believe you brought all of my people together and they're talking about the things that they're talking about. That's the beauty of these residential programs, is we bring together 30 or 40 people together and you have conversations with one another, and we are the platform, sort of the basis to build those relationships for you. And I've seen it. The other point I really want to stress, and carrying this point forward, Marie, is it's not a one and done. What do I mean by that? Once you're done the program, you become an alumni, and we have alumni events for the program where you're invited back to continue to build your relationships with other advisors and thought leaders, but also to continue to enhance knowledge. So I'll stop there. Back to you, Marie.
So it's kind of the beginning of building your network of other people that can help you, either experts that have come in or other people in the program.
Yeah, and very often what we do is we'll put together. So for those of you that know the Rotman School of Management, we have a lot going on there. We have lots of very high profile speakers that come in. What we do when we have these alumni events is we invite everybody that's been in this program and future offerings, but as well as related people, to create a community of like-minded people that I'll call thought leaders. We all come together. We're in a room with 500 people listening to someone who's released a new book, or a Mark Carney, or someone who's speaking at the Rotman School. And then we have a reception for us just to continue to build those relationships, to talk about what resonated with them from the program, but also from that event. Marie, it's really moving the needle on building this community.
Perfect. And I have an interesting question here from Brenda, who's asking, is this for advisors only, or would you think that this would benefit high net worth clients as well?
I think it would benefit anyone. And that's why I tried to be careful in our phrase to say those in the wealth management industry. It could either be a client or it could be an advisor. But the reason, so we've talked extensively about why it's valuable for an advisor. Case closed. Tiffany did a great job. She hit a home run making the case as that. But even a client understanding what advisors are doing. But I would also say blind spots. Very often some advisors wouldn't think of taking a program like this for whatever reason. And I would argue advisors that rule it out ex ante, I would argue they have lots of blind spots. As a high net worth client, I would want to know whether or not my advisor is delivering industry best practices, whether they have blind spots. I want to know that. So it's for anyone in the industry, advisors, clients, and others, Marie.
Okay. And if you think about this program, is it, how do you see the dynamics between, say, the academic and the practitioner side? How do you kind of bring that in and bring it together?
Yeah. And this is a lot of work. So in order to put this block schedule together, Marie, it's not as if a professor is going to come out of his or her office and come to Niagara-on-the-Lake and deliver this. Every session, we have an academic working together with a thought leader in the industry to ensure that, so for example, thinking about John Esch. John Esch is the Rotman person to talk about sort of integrating new technologies in your practice and being able to grow your business. He knows a lot about the wealth management industry, but he's not the guy that would say, I know all of the latest trends in the industry. So we've paired him with a thought leader in the industry that I have a call with next week, who knows all of the trends in the industry. He's a thought leader. If I told you his name, most people on the call would know who he is. They're going to work together to ensure that the technologies that are top of mind for advisors, we have to know what works and what doesn't work. And you know, Marie, one of the biggest pitfalls is an advisor will say, there's another business that adopted this technology. That business is doing well. Therefore, if I adopt the technologies they have, I will do well. That's an error. You have to think more systematically about it. So we've matched faculty with thought leaders from the industry to work together to ensure that the content resonates with the participants.
And maybe a tough question. So it could be considered expensive. Why put down the money to get into this program?
So is that question for me or is that for I'll take it. But
take it, and I'm sure Tiffany can jump in.
I work at the university at Rotman. Obviously, I want people to do the program, but I just want to be very clear. I've been working in executive programs for 26 years. I see what programs like this can do to the trajectory of someone's career. And as I said before, we all work hard. Many people work in the business, not on the business. And you can spend those 5 days working in the business. And when you're done those 5 days, you're still going to be doing things the same. This is a kind of a program that gets you out of your comfort zone. You go somewhere for 5 days. You work together with other people facing the same challenges. It really gets you to understand how you can do your business differently. You can really transform your business, how to take advantage of new technologies. People hear about decentralized finance and Bitcoin and blockchain. What does that mean? And how can I help? How can I use that to grow my business? So Marie, it looks like a big number, but in my opinion, it's well worth it. The ROI on that investment, in my opinion, will be very high. This will deliver significant value.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think what we're looking for is that dynamic between people, the dynamic between research and expertise, the opportunity for experts in the field, people with lots of experience, to come together and share their experiences. I know, for example, of a gentleman advisor who told me this story about this family where he had spent a lot of time over the years with the couple building their strategy and putting it all together and planning it all out, and then finally met the son, and the son wanted to take it all apart. So your strategy can come apart in an instant if you haven't taken care of those dynamics. And so I think part of what you're talking about here is those elements of dynamics in a family that can make it such that not everybody agrees and not everybody has the same view. So how can you use technology? How can you use analytics? How can you use information and experience to be able to bring that all together?
You know,
Go ahead.
Marie, I have to just share one quick story, if I may.
Sure.
I've done a lot of work with several financial institutions, mainly using data to look at the efficacy of advisor interactions with clients, and especially with high net worth clients. I love your point, Marie, but I cannot believe some of the errors that people make. And here's the remarkable thing, is that many advisors don't realize why they didn't get the deal. And that's why all of the topics are important. The stakeholder engagement's important. But my assessment about communication, if you don't know what effective communication is, if you don't know how body language and interacting, and I know lots of investment advisors say, or wealth advisors say, I know this stuff. Well, that's fine. But I would say you have lots of blind spots. And this is the kind of program that can uncover them and help you go to the next level. Back to you, Marie.
Perfect. Well, we only have a minute left. So I really want to thank you and Tiffany for providing your insights, your passion, lots of information on the program. I think this program assumes you've already built the technical skills. This is really about those soft skills, those those practices that will become very important. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sharon, for giving us the information on the program, and I'm sure you'll be a terrific guide as people come into the program. It's been an excellent conversation. Thank you for participating in the seminar and the webinar. We will be sharing the slides on our website at csi.ca, and we'll be sending you out the information, the actual recording of the session. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and have a great day.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.